In one of my last videos, I've shown you Passbolt, an open source password manager that you can entirely self-host in your own home lab. It's awesome for privacy, and the free community edition allows you to store all your credentials securely. You can even share it with your friends or team members, but there was a pretty important feature missing in this free community edition. It had no two-factor authentication, and many of you have of course complained about that in the comments. Today I have some good news for you, because Passbolt has listened to you. They now have added two-factor authentication support, including TOTP, YubiKeys, and also Duo. All that is now available for everyone in the free community edition. I believe that's making their password manager even more interesting for home lab people, and that's why Passbolt has asked me to do another video about it. Today we will cover how to set up your smartphone as a two-factor authentication device. We are going to add this YubiKey as a second option as well, and I also have a small special for people who are interested in the pro version of Passbolt. More about that in a few minutes. Just to make it clear, Passbolt is supporting this video, but as always they didn't tell me anything about what to say here. I honestly believe it's a great tool, otherwise I wouldn't cover it here. Just to mention, if you're entirely new to Passbolt and you're not sure about how to install it and so on, you can go and watch my first video tutorial. There I have explained how to set up the free community edition of Passbolt in a small Docker container, of course with trusted SSL certificates and email notifications, so it's a full production ready walkthrough. And if you've done that, or you've already installed it in your home lab and you now want to get access to this new two-factor authentication feature, you just need to update your existing Docker Compose file a bit. You need to change the image tag to at least the version 3.9 of the community edition. This is where Passbolt enabled the two-factor authentication feature. But if you're watching this video tutorial a bit later, you should also check out the latest release of Passbolt on Docker Hub. When I'm recording this video, the version 3.12 is the latest one that also introduced some other nice changes like groupie credentials. So I've updated my image tag in the compose file with this latest version, and then just recreate your Docker containers with this newer image tag using the docker compose up command with a force recreate, for example. Passbolt will automatically update your database and make everything ready for you. It's really just as simple as that to get access to all the new cool features of Passbolt. Before we start setting up this phone and this YubiKey, just a quick reminder why we are actually doing this. Passbolt is a very secure password manager out of the box. I've talked about this in my first video, but as any other application that relies on a single password to log in, or in this case a passphrase, there is the potential risk that this passphrase could be stolen by somebody, or if for whatever reason somebody gets access to your machine, or even worse, your private key, and he can guess this passphrase, this person could just log into your Passbolt account and access all your credentials. That's of course a pretty dangerous threat for you, and sure, Passbolt has a great security architecture with the private keys and a passphrase, but I would strongly recommend enabling two-factor authentication to protect your Passbolt account and make it even more secure. And here you have three different options in Passbolt to achieve this. You can use a TOTP, a so-called time-based one-time password, where you link a second device like your phone, for example, to your Passbolt account, and this device generates every 30 seconds a new random 6-digit number that you need to type in together with your passphrase. Or even better, you can also buy such a small hardware key. That means you also need to have physical access to this key in addition to your passphrase. Or you can also use Duo. That's a cloud-based two-factor authentication service owned by Cisco, and it's providing security services to help organizations protect their applications. I'm skipping it in this video here because I guess most of you will either use a smartphone or a YubiKey as a second factor. Nevertheless, if you are interested in setting up Duo on Passbolt, there is a great documentation about it. It's very straightforward. Of course, I will link you all the documentation in the description of this video. But regardless of which two-factor authentication you're using, TOTP, a hardware key or Duo, it's all much better than just using a single factor. And let's now have a look what you exactly need to do in Passbolt to enable it. First, we need to log into Passbolt with our administrator account, of course, and then enable one of these free two-factor authentication providers. That can be done in the administration section, and let's for now just use my phone as a second factor and enable the time-based one-time password password provider. This makes TOTP globally available in your environment, and every user can now set up their own authenticator app on their smartphones. If I want to add it for my user, for example, I just need to go into my user's profile section and go to multi-factor authentication support. You should then see a TOTP provider that we have enabled, and when you click on this, it shows you all the necessary instructions that you need to follow on your device. It's very simple. The Getting Started wizard will generate a QR code that you need to scan with an authenticator app on your phone. If you don't have an authenticator app yet, you can just go to the App Store on your iPhone or to the Play Store on an Android phone, and there you will find many authenticator apps available. I'm, for example, mostly using the Google Authenticator, but you can in theory just choose anything else that you like. The process is usually always the same. Just scan the QR code with the authenticator app on your phone, enter the one-time code that your authenticator should start generating now, and that's it. You now have successfully enabled two-factor authentication with TOTP in your Passbolt account. When you now log out of Passbolt and you try to sign in again, you always need to type in your passphrase just as usual, but after that you will always need to enter one of these one-time codes from your authenticator to successfully sign in. So that means every time you need to re-log in, you also need to have access to your phone to get one of these codes, and that's making it, of course, much more secure than just having to enter your passphrase. Of course, you should also now think about how you're protecting the authenticator codes on your phone. For example, all the iPhones now have Face ID, or if your phone has a fingerprint sensor, that's of course also a really secure way to protect your Passbolt account. However, I know it can be a bit annoying to unlock your phone all the time, copy and paste the one-time code. There is, in my opinion, an even better and also a very secure way to enable two-factor authentication in Passbolt by adding a hardware key like this YubiKey here. Before we go and set it up as well, I quickly want to let you know that if you're interested in the Pro version of Passbolt, no matter if it's the self-hosted version in your home lab or the cloud version that's enhancing Passbolt with even more exciting features, especially for bigger teams and companies, you should use my discount code Christian Lemper to get 20% off all plans. I've put it in the description as well for you, so make sure you use it to save some money. And now let's go back to the Passbolt interface and let's set up this YubiKey here. Just like with the TOTP provider, we need to enable it first in the administration section. Just click on YubiKey, and here you also need to enter a client identifier and secret. If you're now wondering where you can get this from, you just need to open the YubiKey's website and obtain an API key. Note that this only works with specific YubiKeys. It's also mentioned on the Passbolt's website that they currently only support the YubiKey 5 series. You can also find them on my personal kit page, where I'm sharing all of my equipment and server builds with you, like my server rack, the Proxmox and storage server. Here I've now added a new section for YubiKeys 5 series, and there you will find all the different keys with USB-A, USB-C, Lightning, NFC, or also the Nano series, and of course a link to buy them directly from Amazon. This also supports me a bit, and you can be sure to buy a YubiKey that works in Passbolt. Now, if you got a supported YubiKey and you plugged it into your computer or connected it to your phone, you just need to open the link to the YubiKey's website to get the API key. You'll also find it in the description of this video, and this takes you to a page where you first need to enter your email address along with the YubiKey's OTP from any of your keys. You simply can generate it with the YubiKey 5 series when you select the text field, insert your key of course, and then tap it once. This should fill in an OTP, and once you accepted the terms and conditions and clicked on Get the API key, this will reveal your client ID and secret that you now just need to enter in the Passbolt's admin menu. Just save these settings and that's it. By the way, there's also the possibility to inject this client ID and secret by using environment variables into the Passbolt's Docker container, so that could be interesting for you if you'd like to automatically deploy your services somewhere and you don't want to add it manually in the administration section. Once you've done that and the YubiKey provider is enabled, you again just need to go into your profile, where you should now see another two-factor authentication provider called YubiKey OTP. Just tap your YubiKey once again to generate a new OTP value, and that should be all. You now have successfully connected this YubiKey as well to your Passbolt account. Let's also test it again and log out. And when I now try to sign in again with my passphrase, it's asking again for a two-factor authentication. You can see that this still by default asks me for the OTP value from my phone. That's because I haven't disabled this provider. And maybe it's even better to not disable it, because you can use both. And when you lose your YubiKey for whatever reason, you still have a valid backup two-factor authentication with your phone. I think this is even much better. You can now click on try another provider to switch from OTP to YubiKey OTP, and now you can just tap your YubiKey again and that's it, you're now logged in. And yeah, I think this is a great way to protect your accounts in Passbolt even more. You can use your phone, a YubiKey, or even better, both. You could also even use Duo. It's all now fully supported and available in the free community edition. I think that's really amazing. I hope Passbolt keeps listening to us and they will add more exciting features in their upcoming versions. But overall, I think Passbolt is getting better and better, and it's absolutely a great choice for a password manager for privacy-focused people and home lab enthusiasts. So go and check it out. And as always, thanks everybody for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.